Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would have a little casual, cozy kind of craft and chat. So basically today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be making TBR prompt jars. So here are my jars. They're a little bit smaller than I would have liked, but here we are. That's internet buying for you. So I have two because I live in two different places and I don't want to be like taking this little glass thing back and forth from our two locations that we live. So I'm going to make two with different prompts in each. I'm not going to double them up. That way wherever I'm at and I want to do a TBR prompt video, I can just pull out of the one that's there. And if you are curious about that situation, you can watch this vlog where I explain it a little bit. All right, then I have just some construction paper, scissors, and a pen, all the things necessary. So first of all, I want to say, please leave, if you have a good prompt, please leave it below and I will add it to one of the jars. I really like for you to add prompts to this video. And yeah, that would be amazing. So I have a few in mind already that I'm like, those would be really interesting. And while we make these, if we need something to talk about, I have a would you rather, a list of reading would you rather questions. So that could be interesting. I've got my water, and so we are ready to begin. Okay, so first I'm just going to write out some of the ones that I had in my head. And I know some people color coordinate, like genre and all of that, and I just am not going to do that. So I'm just going to mix them up, the colors, just to make it more visually pleasing when I am pulling one out. So, okay, sorry guys, I had to readjust because when I was writing on the table, it was shaking the camera. So that would have been a waste of time. So, all right, so highest rated book and lowest rated book. So I'm just going to write them out on a few different colors, so at least it's not all one color. And we will just see what we have. So let's, of course, now they're all escaping me. But let's talk about one of the tags. Okay, would you rather, this is kind of a simple one, but also a bit controversial. Would you rather read from a hardback, paperback, or ebook? Okay. I understand the love of the physical book. I also love it. And for me, my justification of always choosing ebooks. Okay, how does it say? Would you rather? Okay, I would rather read out of a hardback or a paperback. Probably a paperback. But I don't usually ever read out of a physical book because of reasons. And those reasons are that I read, and on Booktube, this is not going to be shocking to anybody. Some people that I talk to are like, what? Yeah, I read like 50 to 60 books a year. And I am very heavily also a library goer. Like I'm very I get 90% of my books through the library. And sure, I can get physical books through the library, but it's a constantly driving back and forth to the library to get my physical books. And it just becomes a bit of an errand I have to run pretty frequently. So that's why I like doing ebooks, and I still get all 90% of my ebooks even, and my audiobooks and all of that from the library through Libby, which is very convenient. So that's kind of why I do it. I can also obviously have tons of books for vacation, going anywhere, traveling. I can have tons of books on my Kindle or on my phone. I can switch back and forth if I don't want to bring my Kindle, even if I'm really going away for just a very short amount of time, but I still want to read. I can just go over to my Kindle app on my phone or my Libby app and just pick up the book there. So the convenience is a big, big thing for me. Yeah, the size, everything, the convenience, being able to get the library book so conveniently. So that's why I'm mainly ebook here. And also, I don't want to buy Again, I can get it from the library, but I don't want to buy 50 to 60 books. Every book I read, I don't want to buy. Now, if I read a book and I love it, I will buy it. I will buy it in whatever, paperback, hardback. So like recently I did A Ministry of Time, which you can hear my little review in this February reading wrap up. And I absolutely love that book. That's my favorite book that I've read this year. And I am going to buy it. So I just don't want to buy it off Amazon. I'm going to wait until I'm in a bookstore and buy that. And yeah, so I'll have that. That'll go on my bookshelf because that's a winner for me. So that's how I deal with the physical ebook controversy. Okay, now I have these two prompts, and now I forgot all the other ones I'm doing. I'm going to do, okay, how about we do shortest book and longest book. Ooh, here's another one. How about start a new series? Because there are actually here's another one. Now they're coming to me. Now they're coming. Last book on TBR and most recent. So another thing with doing this prompt jar that I'm going to have to see how it works out, because I do a lot of library holds and all of that, I don't just automatically go and buy a book. So some of these prompts I might have to be like, okay, well, that's not available right now. For some other booktubers, that's a different story because they have all the books in front of them and they have them readily available so they can pick right away. So some of these might have a little adjustments, but that's okay. It's all for fun anyway. Okay, let's do I have a lot of romantasy on my thing, but romantasy, sci-fi. I like the one with like a number in the name. I don't even know if I have any, but your TBR is always changing, right? So there might be a number in the name. Okay, let's go back to this color here. All right, let's look at the next. Would you rather crack the spine of a paperback book or ruin a hardback's dust jacket? Ooh, I think that's hard. I guess I would rather crack the spine of a paperback. But I crack the spine just because you're opening it, but would never like fold it over. I see people reading paperbacks that are like completely folded over where the front and the back covers are touching themselves. I'm not doing that. But sometimes to have it fully open, the spine has to crack. So I guess I'd choose that. Even though a hardcover book, depending on how the under the dust jacket, the actual cover looks, sometimes the dust jacket, maybe isn't a big loss because the actual cover sometimes is beautiful. So, but I'll choose crack the spine. Okay, let's look at a prompt jar. Okay. And like a nonfiction. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I'm very picky about my nonfiction. I do read it, but I read 95% fiction. So that would be a good one to like force me to get to get to some of the nonfiction books on my TBR, because there are some. Recommended by a friend, that's a good one. Actually, the next book on my recommended, messed that up, by a friend. The next book I'm reading, which will be in my March wrap up, which I haven't started yet, is Margot's Got Money Problems. I think that's the title of it. I know it's a very popular book, but I think that's how it's worded. My friend Kimmy suggested that to me, so that will be my next book. So I'm sure there are more on my TBR that have been suggested by people, but that's a good one. 5-star prediction. This is a good one. 5-star prediction. This is a tricky one because you're like, this book is going to slap. I am going to love this book, and then it doesn't happen. And I just realized I'm not using my mic for this video. So great. We're off to a great start with this. Had to move locations, don't have my mic, but I think it would be more jarring to now connect my mic. So we're just going to go with this audio, and I'll try to clean it up as best as possible. Annoying. Okay, let's see. It has a one-word title. Interesting. One-word title. All right. Let's see. What do you put? Sci-fi. A book you started but set aside. So for that one, I won't use that one, because if I don't finish it, if I DNF it, I usually I return it to the library. I put it in my DNF list on Goodreads, so I know that I have a record of what happened to that book, and then I just go on. So I don't think I would go back to one that I set aside, unless I really knew that this book is great, but it's just I'm not in the right headspace for it. But I don't think that really usually happens. Okay, let's see. Let's see what other ones we can find here. A book that you've been avoiding. A book that you've been avoiding. A book that you've been avoiding. This one, there is one that comes to mind for this prompt. And that's like A Little Life. I think because I know it's supposed to be so sad. It's super long. It's been in my TBR forever. And I love a sad book. So that is one that immediately comes to mind for that prompt. Ooh, this one's cool. A book with an element in the title. So water, earth, wind, or fire. Element in the title. That would be pretty easy because I have a lot of like romantasy and fantasy on my TBR. So that would be a good one. Okay, let's see another Would You Rather. This is an interesting one, especially since I just said that I have a lot of romantasy and fantasy on my list. Would you prefer an info dump on a world/magic system, or like a drip feed technique? Oh, that's a hard one. I think, depending on the level of the magic system, like if it's simple, I could do an info dump. If it's more complex, that's going to be too much for me, as well as learning all of like the world that it's in and the characters and who they are to each other and all of that. I think that'd be a little too much for me to retain. So I think probably a drip feed technique to be safe. Would you rather jump on board with a book series and wait to see if it gets traction, or wait for a successful book series to be brought to your attention? I obviously get series brought to my attention because they are popular, but I am fine like starting a series that has one book out and know there's a series to come. If I enjoy it, then I don't care. That's fine. All right, let's find some more prompts. All right, let's see. A book. I am so bad at remembering authors. So I'll be like, read this book. I'm like, oh, this is a great book. And I'll look up the author. I'm like, oh, I've read 2 other books. I'm so bad at doing that. A book about books. That's a good one. Cause it's a pretty easy one to fill too. Because authors love books and they like to put books in bookstores and all of that kind of thing in their books. So, okay. A book about books. Let's see here. A book with bad reviews. That's kind of like lowest rated. That makes sense. That'd be interesting. A book written by an author with your initials. Wow, that's very specific. I don't think I would have that. A book with lady, girl, or woman in the title. Oh God, no. There's too many of those. A sports romance book. I love that. I love a hockey romance, and I have several on my TBR, so that's good. Sports romance. And I've read quite a few of the hockey romances and a baseball romance. Not every single sport I'd be interested in reading a romance on, but those ones are good. We're doing okay. We're doing all right here. A book with no people on the cover. That one's kind of interesting. No people on the cover. I write so large, I swear. I've always written so big, and now I have to fold these up tiny and put them into the jars. All right, let's do a this or that. Would you rather? Would you rather read duologies, trilogies, or standalone books? Any of the above I guess I would say trilogies, only because if the book is bad, or even if I enjoyed it, if I enjoyed a book, there would be more. If I didn't really enjoy it, I don't have to read the other ones. So it's basically, if you say trilogies, then you're set either way. You can have more something you like, or you can stop at book one. So I think that's like a way to get around that. Would you rather read self-published or traditionally published authors for 2 years straight? I mean, I guess traditionally published? I feel like, yeah. Would you rather read fantasy or science fiction? Fantasy. Would you rather have your favorite book adapted into a film or a television series? Television series, obviously. Like, you have way more time to... You might have as many resources, but you have more time. And I think that, depending on the genre, is much more valuable. Okay, this one's kind of cool. Have your significant other pick. So I'm going to say have Matt pick. That could be a really interesting one. He would just go basically on the cover. He'd be like, which one do you want me to pick? No, you have to pick yourself. Okay. And this one says a book published after 2015. I'm going to reverse it and say before 2015, because there are a lot of books on my TBR that are before 2015, but you get into the habit of reading like the newest books on your TBR. So I'm going to force myself to go published before 2015. I mean, I read Jane Austen and stuff. That's well before 2015. So that I haven't read all of her books, so that would be a good opportunity to read another Jane Austen book. A genre you don't usually read probably isn't on my TBR to begin with, like a mystery. Unless it's super popular and has like kind of some crossover elements, they wouldn't be on my TBR to begin with. A book that has a place in the title. That one could be cool. Place in the title. All right, let's go back and see. How many do we have? We have 23 so far. Isn't a bad start, but it's not near, especially when I'm splitting over 2 jars, not nearly enough. So we'll see if we can come up with something here. Okay, the next, would you rather? Would you rather have to reread your least favorite book every month or never read your favorite book again? Oof, wow. Reading it every month is a lot. I don't even know what my least favorite book is. I would just make sure my least favorite book was like a very small short novella or something. Oh. Okay. I'm going to make a controversial thing here. I don't know if my new favorite book is out there, and I don't want to lose time reading a book I hate to read my favorite book. And both of my like absolute top favorite books have been made into movies many times. So I can watch the movie at least. Yeah. Which is Jane Eyre and Persuasion. And I can watch those movies. I know the movies are the same, it's not as good, but that would give me more chances to like still relive that story and find a new book. Would you rather secretly love a book that everyone else hates or secretly hate a book that everyone else loves? Okay, would you rather secretly love a book everyone else hates or secretly hate a book? I'd rather secretly love a book everyone else hates. I don't really care. There, like the Fourth Wing, I didn't hate it. I didn't like that book. I didn't think it lived up to the hype. Didn't care. Not reading any more of the series. So I don't care. I just don't read any more of them. Like if somebody else likes that book, great. So I don't know why I would want to hate a book that everyone else loves. That's fine. Would you rather dog ear your book or never be able to mark your place? I'd have to dog ear it, I guess. Like, that would be a nightmare. Unless I stopped at is like writing it down somewhere else what page you're on? Is that marking your place? Because I would rather do that than dog ear it, but I don't know if that counts. Oh, here's a good one. A classic. I do have some classics on my TBR. So I think that would be a good one. Like I said, I love Jane Austen, and I haven't read all of her books. And like the Brontes, I haven't read all their books. I know not all their books are a classic, but we're going to go with that. A book you bought used. A purple cover. Why not? I need more prompts anyway. Under 250 pages. Let's do that. Under 250 pages. And then I'll do, I think I saw one like over 400. There goes Little Life again. We can do that one. We can hit a couple on that. Okay, over 400 pages. Yes, and please, if you have a prompt that you've really liked or you've seen or whatever, please leave it below and I'll add it. I will add it to the jars. Okay, I guess we'll just get cutting. I think we probably, for this video anyway, exhausted my ideas unless I come up with another one here quickly. But all right, so let's go to another. Would you rather? Would you rather listen to your favorite book as an audiobook narrated by the worst narrator ever or never read it again? Man, these are very intense. Yeah, I'd read it by the worst narrator. Better than nothing. Would you rather have a disappointing end or an unfulfilled cliffhanger or lose your favorite character? Does that mean there's not going to be another book? Ooh. I feel like if you have if you have a unsatisfying ending or a cliffhanger, if you have the cliffhanger, who knows? You could lose your character anyway because you don't know. So I'm wondering if losing your favorite character, at least you have closure, even if it's sad closure. I'm going to say lose a favorite character. Sorry. Because I think about the books that I've read that have a unclear ending or whatever, or not even unclear, but maybe a little bit unclear, kind of like Ministry of Time. And I'm like, I get it. I like it, but I would have loved it to be like really obvious and written on the page what the ending was. So when you're really into a book, that really gets me. And so, yeah, I think I'm willing to sacrifice somebody. So I'm up thinking about the ending of a book or lack of ending of a book at 3 o'clock in the morning. Would you rather have a friend? Okay, here's some more would you rathers. Would you rather have a friend who loses your books or one who dog ears them? Dog ears. Yeah. I don't really, like I said, I only buy my like super favorite books, so I don't like really lend them out often. Like I will, but I'd be like, please give it back to me. And I've only been burnt by that like very few times. So I guess I would still rather get it back and be dog-eared and have a talk with that person. Like, please don't dog-ear them. Here, I'll give you a bookmark. I'll buy you a bookmark. You pick out a bookmark, I will buy it for you, like, to use. Or if you use anything around the house that, like a receipt or something, that will save my book for me. Would you rather be stuck on a very long plane or train ride without a book? I don't really see the distinction. I mean, obviously I do, like, with what it is, but I don't see the distinction on what it matters. Like, if you're stuck somewhere, I guess a train, because you have like internet and stuff, and you also don't have to worry about like downloading stuff for your, to watch, like your media and stuff. So, you could do that. Would you rather have dinner with your favorite character or your favorite author? I don't even have someone in mind, but character. Character, yeah. For sure, character. Okay, we've got our first round of prompts all cut out. Would you rather live in a library or a bookstore? Oof, library or bookstore? Library. I feel like they have more comfy seating depending on the more comfy place to sleep. I guess. They're bigger, typically. So I'm just gonna do like each color in each one here. Would you rather lose your place or get a paper cut every time you read a book? Lose my place. Paper cuts can be gruesome. Would you rather have to always read in the dark or always read books with tiny text? Well, I'll pick the dark because I read on a Kindle, so gotcha. Would you rather read by a fireplace or by the beach? Or on the beach? Fireplace. All right, enough of those. Yeah, so I'm really excited about making these prompt jars because I think it will spice up picking out my next reads. And so basically I can go off of like just what my holds have come up. And if I'm not feeling the hold or there are no holds up, then I just go to like things that are a little bit older and see like what's available. And I always try to, if I can, get the book and the audiobook at the same time because I do like to switch back and forth. Like if I'm in the car running an errand, like this morning I was just running an errand and I was listening to First Time Caller in the car because I wasn't obviously reading when I was driving. So then I can come home and pick it up on the book, or if I have chores to do or whatever, I can just keep going on it. So I love that kind of method of reading. And so that kind of sometimes sways how I pick my next read. So this will be a little bit different approach to that. I know some people, when they do a TBR jar, they just do the title of every book on their TBR, and that's how they pick it. But I think this is a little bit more interesting. It gives you a little bit of more leeway. And also, like I said, because I don't have like every book on my TBR at my disposal right now, this does give me a little bit more leeway about what book I can pick. So, and it's just a little bit more fun. Okay, so here are my TBR prompt jars. Obviously, it was split over two. There's not that many in there, but there's enough for at least like one pull. And by the time I actually do a video using these to pull my TBR for the next month, I will have thought of a bunch more. And hopefully there are some recommendations below that I can add in. So please put your prompts below so I can fill these up. So that's all for today. Thanks for hanging out with me while I make my TBR prompt jars, and I'll see you in the next video.